Big smile on your face there, Stephen. It's over!
Yeah, it's the morning after the last show, and you know, it's been hard these last 3-4 months putting all the shows together, but I'm quite proud of what we've achieved here at VIP Boxing. Everyone's worked hard together, and we've kind of pulled it off. We have had, you know, some bad experiences where we've not matched people up, and we've been so unlucky on some occasions, but the majority of it is we've done really well and got all the kids out, and yesterday was the same. We got 4 fights out on the Jolly Boys dinner show.
And you know, I think everyone really enjoyed themselves. It was a good night. It lived up to what everyone's been missing, you know, because we didn't have it last year, did we? And you know,
yeah, you could see it in everyone's faces. Yeah. It was good for me. There's people I've not seen there for a couple of years, and you know, the shake hands were like hugs yesterday, wasn't it? It was just a big relief for everyone to be out. Probably half of them will have COVID over the next 2 or 3 days, but hey, you know, I think I've got a bit of a flu myself now. And
I think I was just about to say the amount of work that you've put in over these last 4 months. I was just a little tally up, and since September the 3rd, when the small shows were allowed to go ahead again, I think you've put on 16 shows, as well as having interest with you know, all your fighters on the big shows.
Yeah.
You've managed to get 27 kids making their debuts, and you've also got 64 different fighters out, and most of them at least twice. A few of them 3 times before.
Yeah, well that's good, isn't it? I mean, there's a few kids who I wanted to get out again, just not been possible. But you know, we're ringing them to let them know they're in my thoughts for the new year, and we want to do. But you know, we finished on not a bad weekend, have we? I mean, we had 3 on Saturday night at the MEN show, and obviously the Jolly Boys, as I said before, we had 4. So
before we talk about Jolly Boys, you want to just quickly?
Yeah, of course we can. Yeah, Rhiannon kicked off the MEN show for Eddie. I mean, it was actually 4:30 she thought, but I was told it was 4. You can imagine we've just done the COVID testing and the way there for the Jolly Boys, and get home and changed, and I was absolutely knackered when I got down there at 4 o'clock. I had nothing to eat, and I took a chicken sandwich down there, and thought, right, once Rhiannon's had that, I can relax, have something to eat, and then we'll get ready for the big 2 fights. But you know, Rhiannon was 4:30, which gave us a bit of a time to there, and I know she was a little bit disappointed in the performance, but I think the girl she fought on her debut has improved a lot, and
well, she's been very busy. She's been really busy.
Yeah, and she had like a big reach advantage on Rhiannon, and she knew from the first fight that Rhiannon could punch a little bit, so she made it a plan to keep out of the way. And you know, she's an experienced journey girl now, and she did that for the first 4 rounds. I think in the 5th, Rhiannon was starting to get her shots off, looked really good, and the same again in the 6th. So that I'll agree with it. It wasn't the best performance, but it was a good performance considering everything, you know. And I'm sure she'll improve for next time with the experience of fighting on a big show as well.
Yeah. And then we had young Zelfa Barrett, who was on next in his world title eliminator.
Yeah. Well, it ended up being a comfortable win for Zelfa.
I thought it was a lot more comfortable than the scorecard said, because I think one of the scorecards had it, was it 116, 111, and I had it almost a shutout really.
Yeah, and he dropped him as well, didn't he?
He did.
I think that was in
so
the 3rd round.
So if you look at those, it should have been a bit wider for me.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen the uproar over the cards on the Chisora and Parker score.
I didn't. Well,
apparently, one card had him only winning by 2, but you know, he virtually won every round and put him down 3 times as well. So that was pretty contentious.
I thought Parker looked really good compared to his last performance.
He did. But going back to Zelfa, you know, you've got to give credit to that kid. You know, he's a lot little than Zelfa. Zelfa can punch at super featherweight, and he whacked him all over the place, and you know, he kept coming, and you know, I knew what I was getting with him, but I didn't expect him to be as tough as he was. So fair plays to him. You know, he pushed Zelfa, even though Zelfa was always in control, and it was a really good performance by Zelfa. And you know, like people were saying that maybe he could have put it on the foot and pushed him backwards and started maybe trying to take him out of there. But you know, when something's working,
might change it.
There's no need to, and you know what? He took some pushing back, that little kid. He was a little dynamo, wasn't he? So you know, I think again, Zelfa will come out of that and took a lot more experience out of it. I know he's had a lot of
12 rounds in the bank. It's not going to do him any harm, is it?
No, and obviously, hopefully his next fight's for the world title, and that'll help him, yeah.
Right. And then big disappointment for us because. I thought Jack was going to do it, you know, and it looked like after 5 rounds, I mean, a lot of people said different things to me, but I felt he was up 4-1 going into the 6th round when he got hit with that body shot.
Yeah, well, I thought it was a close fight, and to be honest, he hadn't actually scored the rounds, but if I was asked, I would have thought Jack was just in front, but what was annoying me was that he was having 10-second, 20-second spells where he was using the jab, keeping him at distance, picking his shots off, moving his feet, and he was in no trouble whatsoever. But as Jack normally does, he ends up in a fight, and he fought right from the first spell, didn't he? You know, the spells where he was controlling the fight with his reach and his jab weren't often enough and weren't long enough, and you know, you've got to give that kid credit, not dissimilar to the opponent that Zelfa had, where he kept coming and to be fair to him, the body shot that finished it was fantastic. It was a great shot, and whether he'd have got that off if Jack was controlling it at a distance, I don't know. But you've got to give him the props for delivering that shot and winning the fight. I just feel that, you know, preparation had gone really well for the southpaw. We changed it with a week to go, but that's not an excuse. The excuse was that they had a game plan. He did very similar to in the fight with Yildirim, where he kept him at range, never got involved. That's all he had to do.
Do you think maybe, you know, because he told me, I think he sold around about 1,000 tickets for the show, do you think the crowd, where normally it would be an advantage for you, ended up being a disadvantage because perhaps he wanted to please the crowd?
But he got a great reception, didn't he? You know, and he lapped it up, and he looked to be enjoying it. Whether that's made him have the fight, I don't know. But really and truthfully, he's a seasoned professional now, and he should know better. And I certainly know Mike and Dave weren't very happy that he didn't stick to the plan, because it reflects on
them. You could hear that in the corner.
But listen, like we said, it's over and done, and unfortunately now we'd be looking for the defence of his European title and maybe moving on to world honours, and that's gone. You know what I mean? We've got to bring him back, and how we bring him back will depend on the support we get from Rhiannon on that one, and where he goes from there will be up to Jack now, because he's going to have to learn to use a game plan, or he's going to be probably reached his highest point, which is a shame really, because he could have been a European champion, which is a dream for any boxer, and it must have been a dream for Jack Cullen, because obviously he started on the small halls, and you know, when he could come on board, we might have been looking at Central area and English, and he won the English, but he's never been a British champion. He could have been a European champion. So you know, it's disappointing for the old team, and I'm hoping Jack's as disappointed as I am, and Mike Jennings and Dave Jennings are, and probably Eddie Earns will be. I know he's got a lot of fighters, but people like Cullen, who sells tickets and fight anybody, and you know, and entertaining, he's never in a bad fight, are people that you need, and hopefully Jack can learn a lesson from that and come back a better fighter and get him back on track and move him on. So overall, a good night on Saturday, but not as good as I wanted it. Because Jack would have been the icing on the cake, but Rhiannon done well, Zelfa did brilliant, and Jack could have done a little bit better.
Yeah. Now, Jolly Boys, we touched on before, 4 really good fights. I know most people don't go to the Jolly Boys for that. It's a party for people who are involved boxing and love boxing. But actually, you treated them to 4 really good fights, mate.
Yeah, well, we had 3 going on in the 6th round, and unfortunately Jake James got COVID, and then I thought to myself, do you know what, just in case something goes wrong, I better put a couple more extras. I make it 4 fights, and we did, and we managed to match him up, and it was never a question of any favourites for going on. It was just like whoever we get matched up's going on, because there's a few that I'd like to put on, but you know, we got 4 on, and there were 4 fights. You know, the first one, Corey O'Regan with Danny Little.
That was Corey's debut for VIP. It was his 5th fight, but his first one under.
It was, and his opponent changed with 2 days to go. He only come on with 4 days to go, and then his opponent changed. You know, we was lucky to get matched up, but Danny Little did this.
I think we should give Danny Little a bit of a shout out, you know, because he's actually, I think he's fought 6 times on our shows at last minute. And come out and always put a good effort in.
Listen, he's done really well, Danny, for us, and I'm grateful for him, because he wasn't sure if he was going to come back, you know, and I said, look, you'll get a lot of fights, and as it's happened, we've been able to get him a lot of fights on our shows, and he's fought from 10 stone to 11 stone 6, hasn't he? And he was his normal durable self against Corey, but Corey kind of put a little bit of a masterclass on, didn't he, considering he was
very skillful boxing.
Yeah, nice southpaw. Let's see what we can do with him when we get him fighting at his own weight. And then the second fight, again, Ben Marksby, who we know is a talented amateur who's been out a while, he's come back. That was his 3rd fight for us, and he looks really good again. Yeah,
you can see why he won so many amateur titles, because as well as good as his first 2 performances were, and they were good, that was a class act against Lee Connolly.
Yeah, Lee Connolly's a good journeyman, isn't he?
Yeah.
But obviously wasn't good enough for Ben, who I wouldn't say did what he wanted when he wanted, but he was in total control of the fights, and you know, fights well in flood. He's done it with the combinations, and he was lucky to counter punch from the start, and I think Lee worked that out, and he wet his shell a little bit because he knew what was happening. So it was a good fight for the punters to watch. Yeah.
And then we'll leave the next fight, the last fight. We'll talk about the one that you made up, Ricky Starkey against Elite's Mikey.
Yeah.
We were trying to get Ricky a win.
We were trying to get Ricky a win, but it was an even fight going. It was never a gimmer, but one that coming out of the home corner that you thought I'd have swung it there. But you know, disappointed in Ricky, not just his performance, but the fact that he come late because he'd been stuck at the hairdressers and he didn't get a chance to warm up properly. So you know, he's been away Cullen for 5 years, not had a win. We put him in the home corner to try and get a win, and he didn't prepare. You know, it was a bit annoying, to be honest with me, and he got what he deserved, which was a loss to someone that he should have, I wouldn't say 100% beat, but he should be beaten and certainly competing with him, whereas it ended up a pretty comfortable fight for that Mickey, and fair play to Mickey Young. You've got to give him his props for turning up and winning, yeah.
And that's back-to-back wins in the away corner for him.
He's a nice lad, so you know, obviously wanted Mickey to win, but pleased for Mickey, yeah.
And you've got a little superstar on your hands because of the Jake James pull-out because of COVID. You was looking for another fight, weren't you?
Yeah, we actually found the opponent before we found the own kid. It was one of those, as you said to the match, whoever's about, let's nail him, and then we'll get one of our kids to fight him. And we got one who's a welterweight, had 2, lost 2, but never been stopped. And Joe's a lightweight, but I knew he'd come in maybe 10-2 or something like that. Anyway, he'd come in at 10-4 the day before. He was probably still 10-4 on the day. The kid was 10-10, and I thought to myself, it'd be some good matchmaking this, because Joe will win, but he won't get him out of there, and he'll learn to get some rounds out of him. But no, he went and blitzed him, didn't he? It was another outstanding performance, and when you look at back of the year, I think he's got to be the top thing that's come out of the year, isn't he? You know, 3 fights against 3 durable journeyman, he's blew them all away and stopped them.
And two of them, arguably, the two of the most durable journeymen in the business, in Jamie Quinn, I think prior to Joe's win over him, he'd only been stopped 4 times in 126 fights. And Nassim Ali had only been stopped once in 80 odd fights.
Yeah, you know, everyone's saying how are you going to match him and everything like that. Well, obviously we're going to have to think about it because he's still only a 19-year-old kid with no amateur experience in it, so you can't be rushed too much, but he can fight and he wants to fight, he's not scared who he fights, and you know, he's got a lovely entertaining style, hasn't he?
But do you know something, we think when you look at that, you know, someone who's blitzed 3 very good kids out so early, I think he's not been past the second round yet, has he? You think he'd be rushing it, but he doesn't. Everything he does is really calculated.
Yeah, you know, he's obviously got heavy hands, but he doesn't look like he's loading up, does he? You know, just a natural punch, isn't he? And he must just be natural with his hands-to-eye coordination as well, because he gets all his shots through as well, you know, and he mixes them up, you know, the body, the overarm rights to the head, and then the uppercuts he got through yesterday. No, he looks a great talent, and he's someone really looking forward to developing, and I know it's not going to be easy.
You know, I was speaking to his coach, Lee Blundell, and I just said, you know, normally there's fighters and you say, oh, what a lovely jab, you know, what great feet, or what a lovely overhand right, or, you know, throws a great uppercut. There's not a single shot that he doesn't throw well.
No, like you say, he's come out of nowhere, and he looks an exceptional talent, and I'm looking forward to building him up there. And we'll have a chat during Christmas and the New Year, and we'll talk about what we're doing in 2022. But I'm glad 2021's at the end. It's been a tasking time, that's for sure, but we've come through it, and we've come through it with flying colours, as some of the boxers have as well. And you know, it's going to be exciting 2022.
I was going to say, I think you must be excited because from the first show right the way through, we've had some outstanding performances on all the shows, especially by the kids making their debuts. And then, like I say, we've had some great performances on the big stage as well.
Yeah, well, I think when we sat here in 12 months' time and we're reviewing it there, I think we'll have moved some of these debutants into the stage and at least fighting for English titles, because they're that good.
Yeah, right, nice one, Steve. Have a good Christmas, have a good rest, recharge your Duracell batteries.
Yeah, need to do, mate.
I'll catch up with you in a few days and we'll talk about
Thanks a lot.
Review. Bye.
Cheers, bye.
For all boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.